There is a lion lying in the grass right now, completely still, and you would walk right past it without ever knowing it was there. That stillness is not laziness. It is one of the most calculated survival strategies in the entire animal kingdom, and almost everyone misunderstands it. We have grown up calling this animal the king, putting it on flags, crests, and movie logos, and yet most of what people think they know about lions turns out to be either incomplete or flat out wrong. Today we are decoding the real science behind 9 things about lions that most people have completely wrong. From why the king of the jungle doesn't actually live in a jungle, to a hidden war inside every pride that most documentaries never show you, to a secret counting trick that lionesses use before deciding whether to fight or flee. We pulled this from decades of field research out of the Serengeti, peer-reviewed studies published in journals like Science and Animal Behavior, and observations from researchers who have spent entire careers following these animals across the African plains. By the end of this video, you will never look at a lion the same way again. Number 1. The king of the jungle doesn't live in a jungle. It is the most repeated phrase about lions, and it is wrong. Lions almost never live in dense forest. They live in open savannas, grasslands, scrubland, and even semi-desert. The reason is simple. Lions hunt by working together as a team, using open sight lines to coordinate an ambush. A thick jungle would actually destroy their biggest advantage. Their tawny, sandy brown coat is not random either. It is a near-perfect camouflage for dry grass under the African sun, letting them disappear in plain sight until they are close enough to strike. So next time someone calls a lion the king of the jungle, you can tell them the title should really be King of the Savannah. Number 2. Lions are not lazy. They are running an energy budget. Lions can sleep, rest, or lounge for 16 to 20 hours a day, and on the surface that looks like pure laziness. It isn't. Hunting is enormously expensive. A full sprint after prey burns a massive amount of energy, and most hunts still fail. Researchers studying lion hunting success in the Serengeti and Kruger found that even skilled lionesses only succeed in roughly 20 to 30% of their attempts. Because of that low success rate, conserving energy between hunts is not optional. It is survival math. By resting through the heat of the day and saving their effort for short, explosive bursts at dawn, dusk, or under cover of darkness, lions are doing exactly what an elite athlete does between events, recovering so the next effort can be maximal. When a lion does move, it can hit speeds of around 50 miles an hour for a short distance, but only because it spent the previous 18 hours doing nothing at all. Number 3. The lionesses are the ones actually running the pride. The image of a male lion as the all-powerful ruler of his pride is mostly Hollywood. In reality, the lionesses are the backbone of pride life. They do the overwhelming majority of the hunting, working in coordinated groups, where some individuals act as wings, circling around to block escape routes, while others wait in the center to make the kill. This is not random. Researchers who have spent years observing the same prides describe females developing consistent roles based on their individual hunting style, almost like a team with set positions. Lionesses also stay in their birth pride for life, forming a stable, related sisterhood that can defend a shared territory for decades and pass it down through generations of daughters. Males, by contrast, are nomads who get pushed out of the pride as young adults and may never return to the place they were born. Number 4. There is a hidden war inside every pride, and it centers on the cubs. This is the part almost no nature documentary spends enough time on. Male lions typically do not hold a pride alone. They form small coalitions, usually with brothers or close male relatives, because a single male simply cannot defend a territory against rival males on his own. When a new coalition successfully takes over a pride by defeating the resident males, what happens next is brutal. Researchers studying lion populations have documented that incoming males will frequently kill the cubs already in the pride. This sounds senseless, but it has a cold evolutionary logic. Nursing mothers do not come back into reproductive cycle while they are caring for cubs that are not related to the new males. By eliminating the previous male's offspring, the new coalition brings the females back into heat far sooner, allowing the new males to father their own cubs before they themselves are eventually overthrown. In response, lionesses have evolved their own defenses. Mothers will fiercely defend their cubs, sometimes banding together against a single intruding male, and field studies have shown females will even mate promiscuously with multiple males during a takeover period specifically to create confusion over paternity, since a male is far less likely to kill a cub he might be the father of. It is a brutal, ongoing evolutionary chess match that has been playing out for millions of years, mostly invisible to anyone who isn't watching closely. Number 5. A lion's mane is basically a walking hormone readout. That thick, dramatic mane is not just for looks. It is driven directly by testosterone. Scientists have found that if a male lion is castrated, his mane will shrink or fail to develop fully. The mane functions as a visual signal of a male's age, health, and fighting ability, and it does double duty as armor, protecting the neck and throat during fights with rival males. A landmark study examining lions across different regions found that mane color and length actually track with both testosterone levels and nutritional condition. Darker, fuller manes tend to belong to older, higher-status males, and lionesses appear to find these darker manes more attractive. But there is a cost. That same mane traps heat, which means heavily maned males overheat faster and tire out more quickly than their leaner, faster lionesses during a chase. This trade-off explains why, in the hottest parts of Africa, like Kenya's Tsavo region, many male lions have evolved to have little or no mane at all. Less insulation means better heat tolerance, even if it costs them some visual intimidation toward rivals. Number 6. That roar you hear in movies is a targeted weapon, not just noise. A lion's roar can travel up to 5 miles across open terrain, and lions are one of the only big cats where an entire group will roar together in a synchronized chorus, with even very young cubs attempting to join in. But this isn't random noise-making. Researchers who ran playback experiments in the field discovered something remarkable. Lionesses can actually count. When researchers played recordings of unfamiliar lions roaring, the resident pride members would assess how many intruders they were hearing, and compare that number to how many lionesses were present in their own group before deciding whether to confidently approach the sound or retreat. If the home team outnumbered the apparent intruders, they advanced. If not, they held back. That means a lion's roar functions almost like a long-distance headcount and territorial broadcast all at once, announcing, "This many of us are here, and this land is taken," to anyone within hearing range. Number 7. Lion cubs disappear for weeks, and that silence is intentional. When a lioness gives birth, she does not bring her newborns straight back into the pride. Instead, she hides them in a den, often thick brush, rocky crevices, or tall grass, completely separate from the rest of the group for the first 4 to 6 weeks of their lives. During this period, the cubs are blind, nearly defenseless, and entirely dependent on their mother, who will physically move the den to a new hiding spot every few days if she senses any threat nearby. Only once the cubs are strong enough to keep pace does the mother finally reintroduce them to the pride, where something unique to lions kicks in: communal nursing. Lionesses that have given birth around the same time will nurse each other's cubs interchangeably, meaning a cub may regularly feed from females who are not its biological mother. This shared care dramatically increases each cub's odds of survival in a species where, even under the best conditions, roughly half of all cubs do not survive their first year. Number 8. There are 2 very different kinds of wild lion left on Earth, and one of them is almost gone. Most people picture only one type of lion, but there are actually 2 recognized subspecies still surviving in the wild today. The African lion ranges across pockets of sub-Saharan Africa, while the Asiatic lion survives in only one place on the entire planet, the Gir forest region of Gujarat, India. Asiatic lions are noticeably smaller than their African relatives. The males tend to carry shorter, darker manes, and they have a distinctive longitudinal fold of skin running along their belly that African lions lack. Asiatic lions also live differently. Instead of large prides of a dozen or more animals, their groups are typically much smaller, often just 2 or 3 adult females, and the resident males tend to socialize separately from the females except during mating or at a large kill. Once, lions of this Asiatic lineage ranged from the Middle East through Persia and across much of South Asia. Today, every wild Asiatic lion on Earth descends from a tiny remnant population that was reduced to as few as a couple dozen individuals in the early 20th century, before sustained protection efforts allowed numbers to slowly recover within Gir's borders. Number 9. Lions have lost most of their kingdom, and it happened in a single human lifetime. It is one of the most sobering facts in all of wildlife conservation. Lions have vanished from somewhere around 90% of the territory they used to occupy historically. They once ranged not just across Africa, but through large parts of the Middle East, and the fossil and historical record even places lions in parts of southeastern Europe in ancient times. Today, viable wild populations are largely confined to fragmented pockets of East and Southern Africa, with small, struggling populations clinging on in West Africa, and that single forest reserve in India. Researchers estimate that the overall wild population sits somewhere in the tens of thousands of individuals, down dramatically from the population that existed just a few generations ago. And the decline has been driven by a combination of habitat loss as human settlements and farmland expand, a shrinking supply of natural prey, retaliatory killing in response to livestock attacks, and illegal hunting. It means that an animal so famous it appears on flags, crests, and movie logos around the world is, in the wild, considerably rarer than most people would ever guess. So the next time you see a lion lying motionless in the grass, looking like it is doing absolutely nothing, remember what you are actually watching: a finely tuned survival strategy, a hidden chain of family alliances, a counting system disguised as a roar, and an animal that has been quietly outthinking the rest of the animal kingdom for millions of years, even while it is rapidly losing the space it needs to keep doing it. The king title might be overused, but in terms of pure social complexity, lions have earned every bit of it. Whether that title still means anything 50 years from now depends almost entirely on choices humans are making right now, in the present moment, about habitat, livestock practices, and protected land. If this changed the way you think about lions, let us know in the comments which fact surprised you the most, and subscribe for more deep dives into the real science behind the animals everyone thinks they already understand.